Hey, what's up, everyone? Let's jump. Oh, Kai, welcome in. Congrats on first. Thanks for your daily check-in. Wow, just 6 more and you've reached 200. Long before I got there. Let's jump back into where we left off. Hello, Bonnie. Welcome in. How are you today? 244,000 channel points. Wow. I'm doing good as well. Let me do a couple things. Catboy Kai. Lots of Kais. I'm surrounded. Yes, there's a lot of Kais here. He shows up rarely, but I also have a named twin called Kairos. Kairos MT. You could. You could. I mean, we literally have Mai, who's an honorary Kai. See, we're gathering as many Kais as we can to annoy another streamer called Rodent Kun. Well, welcome in. Let me drink some water. Rintaro took Maho to Ferris Nanyan's home. It was on the top floor of a high-rise building in the center of Akihabara. We are playing Steins Gate Zero, the sequel to Steins Gate, which is a very, very heavy visual novel. In fact, it's pretty much like 95% visual novel. It's about it's about time travel, basically. Where he keeps trying to go back into the past to try to fix something, but he's struggling. In the first game, it was to fix someone's death. In the second game, actually, the first game ends with him succeeding. The second game, this one, is sort of an alternative where the canon ending, this is an alternative to the canon ending. So he's still trying to achieve that. Because something happened and he gave up. And he's dealing with the consequences of giving up. Did it just jump? If nothing else, it was sure to be more secure than the ancient building they'd just been in. Ferris welcomed the two of them, offering them food and a place to sleep. Daru returned alone to the future gadget lab to meet up with Suzuha. The mere existence of this laptop could bring disaster. We should get rid of it. Once they both calmed down, she started to talk to him about what they were going to do with Kurisu's computer. He didn't budge an inch. Usually, he was an introvert who never pushed too hard for anything. But this time, he was extremely stubborn. Of course, so was Maho. I at least want to check the password and see what's inside. Right now, we can't do that, but... There's no time for that. We should get rid of it now. The best thing would be to destroy it. Destroy it? But this is something Kurisu left us, you know? I thought you were a little more logical than this. I didn't think you were this cold. Maho's words made him flinch. Oh wait, this is the narrator. See, in the first game, it was this character, Rintaro, that was narrating everything. And sometimes he's narrating here as well, as I was just doing. But this one, this is separate from him. So this one, I just used my voice. Maho's words made him flinch. Something bad had happened to him. That's how it seemed to her. And it was easy to assume that it had something to do with Kurisu. So she decided to ask him what she hadn't gotten to earlier, during the fuss this afternoon. You seem like you're hiding something about what happened to Kurisu. What I know doesn't matter. Maho could tell he wasn't going to share. If they hadn't been interrupted this afternoon, would he have told her? Anyway, what should we do with the computer? That computer isn't just something an old friend used to own anymore. It's at the center of an international power struggle. What kind of crazy conspiracy theory is this? You still think it's a conspiracy theory, after what happened today? You saw those foreigners in black suits, didn't you? Your office and your hotel room were ransacked. Someone set fire to Kurisu's house. And then, after that, your lab was visited by mysterious men claiming to be from the FBI. And the attack at the hotel might have had something to do with this too. All these important events keep happening one after another. It's not a coincidence. But still, an international power struggle? The whole thing just seemed like too much of a stretch for her. Trying to connect every single event was a trap that conspiracy theorists often fell into. But in fact, most things that happened didn't really mean anything. When she began to tell him that, what he said next surprised her. John Taitor's prophecy is going to come true now.
John Taitor?
Well, I don't need to say that. Maho had never heard that name before. A time traveler from the year 2036, who appeared on American message boards 10 years ago. I know for a fact that he's real. I've met him myself. John Taitor says World War III will occur in 2015. Well, thank God it's 2020, basically 25. We're safe. Never happened. Yet. The cause will be a time machine. Are you making fun of me? I am being very serious. You wanted to know about Dr. Nakabachi, right? He's Kurisu's father. It's possible that Kurisu may have been involved in the paper he wrote. What did you say? Maho had read Dr. Nakabachi's paper out of curiosity. Last summer, he proudly announced his paper on time travel to the entire world just before fleeing to Russia. The paper itself, however, was so poorly written that it was of no value whatsoever. She couldn't believe that Kurisu might have been involved in writing it. Last summer? Wrong one. But what if his version was an inferior copy of an original that Kurisu wrote herself? Oh, actually, no, it would be last summer, because it's been months since then. Right.
Kurisu の残したノート PC とポータブルハードディスク。
What's inside Kurisu's computer doesn't actually matter right
何な
now.
のかは関係ない。ただ、
What matters is that there are people who want
連
it.
中がいるんだ。
ちょっと待って。少し整理させて。
Give me a second. I need to process all of this. Could what Rentaru was saying be true? She took a moment to think. Normally, she wouldn't give something like this a second thought. But what had been happening around her lately just wasn't normal. She couldn't outright deny it. Besides, she was nursing a conspiracy theory of her own.
私もこの PC が
I
狙われているかもし
also
れ
thought
ない
that
と
someone
の
might be after this
予感はしていたの
computer.
ただ、あなたの話は
But what you're saying is just so different than what I expected.
かけ離れすぎていて、
予想とは
What did you expect?
アマデウスの軍事転用
I
のこと
thought
じ
it
ゃない
might be
かと
about
考えていた
using
の。
Amadeus for military purposes.
軍事転用。
Military purposes.
クリスは精神生理学研究所にもよく出入りしていたんだけど、
Hang on.
時々
Okay.
場違いな連中がそこにやってくるって言ってた
Kurisu
の。
spent a lot of time at the psychophysiology lab. She said sometimes she'd be visited by people who looked like they didn't belong there at all.
どうも国
She
防
said
総
she
省
thought
の
they
人
were
じゃ
from
な
the
いか。
Department of Defense.
アマデウスで人を殺せるのか。
Can Amadeus kill someone? How?
例えば百戦錬磨のパイロットか
for
ら
example,
記憶データを
You
コ
could
ピー
take
して
the memories of a
無
veteran
人戦
pilot
闘機
and
に
copy
制
them
御
and
に
use them
使
to
う
control
とか
drones.
あと以前話した医療へ
And
の応
remember
用
what I said about
覚えて
medical
る？
applications?
人間の脳へ
You mean
記憶
copied
データを
memory data
書き
back
戻
to
す
the
って
brain.
やつかな。
そう
Yeah.
記憶データを修正した上で書き戻しが可能になれば
If you could alter
恐怖
memory
を
data
感じない兵
and
士
then
や
send it back to the
どん
brain,
な非道
you
な
could
任
make
務でも
soldiers who
平然
didn't
と
feel
遂行
fear,
する部隊
or who could carry out any kind of unethical mission without hesitation.
私はてっきりクリス
My
が
thought
そう
was
いっ
that
た
Kurisu
実
had
験の
found
証
proof
拠を
that they
偶
were
然
running
してしまったん
experiments
じゃ
like
ないか
that.
と思っていたの。
Oh yeah, that's a conspiracy theory. I mean, it's a reasonable one, but it's a conspiracy theory. Although, who knows?
なあ、アマデウスの研究には米軍が関与していたりはしないよな。
Hey, the US military aren't involved in researching Amadeus, are they?
するわけないでしょ。
Of course not.
本当にそう言い切れるか。
Are you sure?
君はあくまで研
You're
究
just
者
a scientist.
プロジェクトの
You're not the head of the project.
レスキネン教授だって軍に関与
Dr.
なんてさせ
Leskinen
ない
wouldn't
の。
let the military get involved either.
だよな。
You're right.
あれは別の世界線の話だし。
All that happened in another world line.
世界線？何のこと？
World line? What are you talking about?
いや、
No,
忘れてくれ。
forget it.
俺の
I'm
考
overthinking
えすぎだと
things.
思う。
He hadn't seemed like he'd really meant that. And that really bothered her. She wanted to hear more about John Titor, but he didn't tell her anything else. Since she couldn't crack the security on Kurisu's laptop and hard drive, it did Maho no good to carry them. And just like Rentaru said, those attackers scared her. So she decided she had no choice but to give them to him. He didn't tell her whether he was going to destroy them or not.
Maho, 無事でよかった。
I definitely changed his voice from the first time I did it, because I couldn't remember. I feel like I can't remember again. Maho, I'm so glad you're safe. When she arrived at their office in Mako City, Dr. Leskinen was already there. He came over and gave her a big hug.
教授、
Bear hug?
苦しい。
Professor, you're hurting me.
Oh, すまない。
Oh, sorry. She had heard that the office had been ransacked, but whatever had happened had already been cleaned up.
教授が片付けたんですか？
Did you clean up, Professor?
荒らされたと言っても
It was ransacked, but only your and my things were here. There wasn't a lot to begin
荷
with.
物も多くなかったからね。あとは警察に任せて。
I've left the rest in the hands of the police. I need some water. Two days had passed since the office had been ransacked. Maho had spent both of them at Ferris's house, and only today had she gotten in touch with Dr. Liskinen and gone to Wako City to get her things. They were both going back tomorrow, just as planned. That meant they were saying goodbye to this office.
犯人はまだ捕まっていないんですよね。
They still haven't caught the guy who did it, right?
ああ、
Yeah.
日本に来てから
It's been one thing after another since we came to Japan, hasn't it?
ですね。
It sure has. The two of them looked around the empty office. It'd been a busy 2 months.
魔法はどうだったかな。日本はもう一つの故郷でもあるわけだ。
So what did you think,
感
Maho?
想は
Japan's your other homeland, right? What did you make of it?
早く大学に戻って研究に
I
打ち込
can't
みたい
wait
で
to
す
get
ね。
back and start on my research. I feel like I've been doing nothing but putting reports together for the past 2 months.
魔法は真面目だね。
They're so serious, Maho.
それとクリスが最後の時間を
That
過ごした
and
この国の空
I'm
気を
glad I
感
was
じ
able
るこ
to
とがで
experience
きた
the
の
place
は
where Kurisu spent her last days.
魔法。
But she still hadn't figured out why Kurisu had died. Actually, she had even more questions now. It bothered her to go home with so many questions left unanswered. If only Rintaro had told her everything he knew. Why do I not hear my voice? There we go.
そういえば
Come to think of it, the thought suddenly occurred to Maho.
アマデウスのテスターの件はどうします？
What are we doing with Amadeus' tester? Of course, she meant Rintaro Okabe. If both Maho and Leskinen were heading back to America, that meant that his time as tester was over.
そうだね。
That's right. For some reason, the professor was taking a moment to think it over. She wondered what there was to think about.
テスターはこのまま続けてもらおうと思っている。
Why not have him continue being our tester?
え？本気ですか？
Huh? Are you serious?
実際、リンタロウと
It's a fact that speaking with Lintalo has caused Kurisu to react in new ways, correct? And I'm planning on adding additional testers in the future, not just him.
セキュリティの面で不安が
Is
あるの
that
では？
safe from a security standpoint?
アメリカと日本だと離れすぎていて
Japan and America are too far apart.
起きた時に対
If
処で
something
きません。
happens, we won't be able to deal with it.
大丈夫さ。
It'll be fine. I believe in Lintalo.
いや、信じるとか信じないという話
It's
では
not
な
about
く
whether
て
you
ですね
believe in him or not.
それにテストを継続すれば
If he stays on as a tester, you'll still be able to talk to him, you know?
私は関係ないでしょう。
What? I don't have anything to do with this.
そうかい？
Are you sure about that?
そうですよ。
I'm sure.
では今後のリンタロウとの連絡は
Then I'll take over dealing with Lintalo.
別に構いませんよ。
That doesn't bother me. It still seemed like he wasn't telling her something, but she was too embarrassed to question him further. It surprised her, though, that he was so focused on Rentaro. He seemed to have taken a real liking to him ever since they had first met. Did he simply like the guy? Or was it because he was Kurisu's friend? Or was it something else? She didn't know. The next day, Maho and Dr. Liskinen returned to America via Narita Airport, just like they'd planned. Rentaro had come to see them off, and he was very surprised when Dr. Liskinen told him he could continue being a tester. And then half a year passed. Half a year? Are you serious? Hey, I cleared Pandora's box. So, he made it into the university? Victor Crondia University's grounds were dead quiet. I didn't mean to do his voice, I meant to do mine. It was after 11 p.m. Some of the labs worked all night and into the morning, so the place wasn't completely abandoned. But compared to daytime, it was quiet. The lights in the halls were off, and it was a little scary walking down them alone. Maho lived in the researcher's apartments next to the lab. Oh, never mind. It's just her. She'd been thinking about so many things that night. Her head felt like it was going to explode. Then she looked out the window and realized that the lights were still on in the brain science lab. Dr. Liskinen must have been working late. She decided to put some coffee in a thermos and take it to him.
そもそもなんで私はタイムマシンの研究なんかに没頭しているのかしら。
Why am I doing so much research about time machines anyway? Ever since she'd come back from Japan in January, she'd spent all her free time on it. Even she had to admit she was getting obsessed. Of course, since this wasn't something she could research in public, and since she couldn't let it interfere with her real job, she had to do all of it in her own room at night. As a result, she was staying up late battling with physics textbooks, an unfamiliar subject for her. Exhaustion and lack of sleep were starting to get to her. The whole idea of a time machine was stupid. She still thought so, but she was surprised at how desperate she was getting.
それもこれも岡部さんのせいよ。
This is all because of Okabe. What Okabe had said to her in Japan still stuck with her. Flashbang.
中鉢論文には
It's possible that Kurisu may have been involved in the paper he wrote. Rentaro could have been lying, or wrong, or simply delusional. But part of her wanted to believe it was real. You know, normally he's guilty of all three, but not this time. Of course, from what she'd seen of Dr. Nakabachi's paper, she didn't want to believe Kurisu was involved. It was just that bad. But...
論文は劣化版でもしも
But what if his version was an inferior copy of an original that Kurisu wrote? If she could have written it off as a slim possibility, everything would have been so much easier. But it was just like her, she thought, to be unable to do that. I want to find what Kurisu found. That desire was what drove her to action. But the more research she did, the harder it seemed. It was so hard she was starting to lose faith in what she wanted to believe. Her usual complex started weighing down on her.
クリス、私
Kurisu,
やっぱりあな
I
たには
can't
な
be
れ
you
ない。
after all. Kurisu was her dear friend, but at the same time, she was starting to feel jealous, frustrated, and hateful. And when all those feelings started going around in her mind, there was no way she could focus on work. It was time to chat with Dr. Liskinen for a little, and then go to sleep. She headed over to the lab.
教授
Professor,
Yeah, Maho.
Hey, Maho. Dr. Liskinen seemed surprised at her sudden visit, but he stood up from his chair and welcomed her.
どうしたんだいこんな夜中に
What brings you here at this hour?
子供はもう寝る時間だよ
It's time for kids to be in bed.
その言葉そっくりそのま
I'll
ま
say
お
those
返しし
exact
ます
same words to you.
違いない
You've got that right. Dr. Liskinen laughed innocently, like a child, at her cutting remark.
私の部屋から明かりが見えたものですから
I could see the light on from my
これ
room.
どうぞ
Here. The cup on Dr. Liskinen's desk was empty. She poured him some coffee from the thermos. It wasn't the sticky, sweet cafe au lait that she liked. She made it straight back black to match the professor's taste. The room was filled with steam and a pleasant smell.
これは驚いた
This is a surprise, Maho. Bringing me coffee?
私だってこのくらいの気は利きますよ
Not that bad, am I?
でも君はこういうのが
But I thought you hated this sort of thing.
あれは確か
As I recall, it was the first day you came to this lab. Mary was passing out morning coffee to everyone, and you refused. And do you remember what you said then? Did you come to work to make coffee? If you've got time to make coffee, why not get started on your work? I was in awe. I remember. This new kid was really something.
そんな古い話
That
今さら
that
持
was
ち出
such
さ
a
な
long
くても
time
いいじゃな
ago.
いですか
You don't need to bring it up now. Maho's cheeks swelled in embarrassment.
あの頃はその
Back then, I
天才
was...
少女とか言われ
well,
てちょっといい気
everybody
にな
called
っ
me
て
the
た
girl
というか
genius, and I kind of let it go to my
で
head.
もわからない子供だったんですちゃんと反省はしています
I know better now. Mary was another scientist at the lab. After Maho had apologized, they'd gone on to be friends. Iruma! Welcome in! How are you? How have you been? You know, it's funny. The last Steins Gate stream, I think it was, there was something with the name Iruma, and that made me think of you and wonder how you've been. Hope you've been good. I was dying in uni. Well, you've made it, hopefully. You're still alive. I've been good. As you can see, I'm on streaming day 187. Consecutive streaming. In fact, I've almost made it to my 1 year. My 1 year anniversary will be on April 10th. You're so mean, Professor. I'm never making you coffee again, okay? Just as she was thinking of taking the coffee, she poured back. That's right, Professor. And don't be so mean to Maho. She heard a voice from Dr. Liskinen's computer. I don't know, he's just kind of a weirdo. But he's a good guy. He's not sus. He's got such a weird vibe that it leans into sus vibe, but it's not. It's just weird vibe. Oh, Kurisu. Yes, it's me. I was just examining her program. Thank you for your daily check-in, Iruma. She moved around to where she could see the monitor. And sure enough, The Kurisu CG model was displayed on it.
こんばんは、先輩。
And congrats on second and third. That you, Kaz? Because Kaz does that a lot. Or he did do that a lot until I made him a redeem for himself. Good evening, Maho.
こんな時間までご苦労様。
Sorry to see you working so late. Yes, the one and only Aruma. Maho chuckled to herself. Kurisu was just a program running on a computer. But she still couldn't stop herself from saying things like that. After all the time they'd spent together, Kurisu was no different than a human to her. Not being mean to Maho. I was actually quite impressed with what she said to Mary. Thought that she was very logical, very cool-headed, and very entertaining. That's why I made her my assistant. Of course. I don't mind the new, nicer version of you. Dr. Liskinen gave her a wink as he reached for his coffee cup. Thanks. I'll have some. As he drank his coffee, he grabbed the corners of his eyelids and gave them a little massage. He was acting cheerful, but evidently he was really tired. Welcome in, Kaz. Catboy Kaz. Oh yeah, he was being a little bratty. So, what were you doing at the program? Oh, you know, for the paper I'm writing. The mechanism Amadeus uses to lie. If we could figure out this part of the program, we could learn more about how humans lie, you know? Women's lies or sometimes hide important secrets. I can't say I approve of you trying to discover them. Kurisu's expression was deadly serious. I'm not trying to discover your secrets. I just want to know the thought process involved in telling a lie. Well, that's fine. If I have to reveal something, I'll start by revealing Maho's sweet secrets. Hey, don't be weird. And what are my sweet secrets anyway? Oh, I couldn't say. She played dumb. Sometimes Kurisu liked to joke around. It was infuriating, and at the same time, kind of cute. For example, do you think I don't know about the stuffed animal that he got you at the arcade? Uh-oh. The first thing she thought of when she heard the word arcade was what happened back in Akihabara, Japan. She tried so many times to get the stuffed animal, and failed each time. Rentaro had won it easily and given it to her. Well, I mean, not that easily, but... What about it? You've got it on your bed, don't you? Nope. What are you talking about? That's a present for your mom. Then what's it doing on your bed? Oh, it is on your bed. Why does she know that? Because your mom says she's looking for a new house. And she's living in an apartment right now. I don't want to give her more stuff to haul around. Really? Really? And anyway, That stuffed animal is an important reminder of you. What's wrong with snuggling with it as I sleep? You were guessing? Oh, so it is on your bed after all. And you snuggle with it when you sleep? That's so cute. Tell me more details, please. That stupid computer program had tricked her. By the time she realized, it was already too late. Both Kurisu and Dr. Leskinen, who'd been listening the whole time, were smiling at her. Poor Maho. She glared at them, her cheeks flushed. Looks like Kurisu won this round, huh? It doesn't matter who won or lost. Going to bed. Good night. She turned to leave Dr. Leskinen's office, fuming. But before she could leave, Kurisu got in one final parting shot. Maho, you haven't talked to Okabe for a whole week. If you keep putting off talking to him because you're busy, you're going to regret it later, okay? Listen, are you really that insistent on getting me and Okabe together? Maho stormed over to the monitor, but Kurisu seemed unconcerned. Do you ever think about seeing him in person again? Nope. I see. That's a shame. For some reason, Dr. Leskinen shook his head sadly. I've got another joint project coming up in Japan, and I was thinking of getting in touch with Lintalo while I was there. I was wondering whether I should invite you. I guess not. She'd heard nothing about this. Most of the time, whenever the professor had a project coming up, she'd hear about it through the school's network ahead of time. You're going back to Japan? Yeah. She had to stop herself from immediately saying that she wanted to go too. If she did, Dr. Leskinen and Kurisu would make fun of her again. But she didn't want to miss this chance. There was still a lot she needed to do in Japan. More than anything, she wanted to talk to Rentaro in person, about the time machine, and about Kurisu. It definitely was not because she just liked talking to him. Please take me too. In the end, she gave up. She gave in. Oh, you've finally become honest about your feelings. She has not. Let's come up with a plan to tell him how much you love him. Come on, guys. Maho was starting to get tired of dealing with them. Well, joking aside, I'm honestly not sure if I can take you or not. What do you mean? A lot happened to you in Japan, right? The Brain Science Lab is very concerned. But that's not... And then there's what happened to Kurisu. Directors don't want to lose any more talented personnel. I'll be fine. I was fine last time, wasn't I? In other words, you want to go to Japan and see Lintalo that badly, huh? Do I need to talk to HR about sexual harassment? Oh, please don't do that.
でも本気で交際を検討してみては。
But why not seriously consider dating him?
将来的には
It's possible he'll be coming here in the future, right? You should try to get your hooks into him while you can.
おせっかいな親戚のおばさんみたいなことを言う
Stop
のは
sounding
や
like
め
a
なさい。
nosy aunt.
魔法のお考えは理解したよ。
Alright, Maho. I understand.
私からも
I'll talk to the directors, but just know that I can't guarantee anything.
だからといって
はい、ありがとうございます。
Right. Thanks.
私は結構本気なんですけどね。
I'm pretty serious, actually.
まだ言っているの？
Are you still saying
ま
that?
ったく。
It really felt like she was talking to Kurisu. The feeling was much stronger than when they first started on Amadeus. And that reminded her of something she'd almost done many times but stopped.
このクリスにタイムマシンのことを
Why
相
not
談
tell
してみた
Kurisu
ら
about
ど
the
うだろ
time
う？
machine? She didn't know if Kurisu had completed the time machine theory before her death. But if she had, some clues to it might be hidden in Kurisu's memories. Of course, she couldn't ask her in front of Dr. Leskinen, and she couldn't let others hear what she was making a time machine. If the rest of the lab found out, they'd make fun of her for sure. It wasn't even her field of research to begin with.
それじゃあ教授、そろそろ部屋に戻って寝ます。
Sorry, I had to yawn. Okay, Professor. I'm going back to my room. Maho took her thermos and was about to leave the lab.
あ、ちょっと待った。
Oh, wait a
最
second.
近、魔法
You haven't
の
updated
記憶
Maho's
データを
memories data at all lately,
全
have
く
you?
更新していないだろう
Uh-oh.
アマデウスの魔法のことだよ。
The Amadeus Maho.
ああ、
Oh,
日本に行く前に採取したデータが最後じゃないか
the last time was before we went to Japan, wasn't it?
それはですね。
Oh, about that. Maho didn't know what to say. He was right.
その日本では
Well,
いろいろと怖い
I
体
had a
験
lot
を
of
しまし
scary
たし、
experiences in
アマ
Japan.
デウスに
I've
悪
been
い記
thinking
憶
that
を残すこと
maybe
もな
we
いか
shouldn't
な
give
と。
Amadeus bad memories.
気持ちはわかるが、このままだと
I understand how you
比較実験ができない。
But I can't do a comparison trial like this. A comparison trial involved loading memories from both before and after a given experience into Amadeus, and seeing how it changed. These trials allowed them to see what effects experiences and knowledge had on the brain, but after Kurisu's passing, they became solely Maho's responsibility.
今の君とアマデウス
Right
の魔
now,
法と
the real you and the Amadeus you have such different memories that you're almost different people.
別人
はい、そうですね。
Yes, that's true.
このままだと
At
君を
this
この
rate,
プロジェクトから
I'm
外
gonna have
し
to
て
take you off the
他
project
の
and
誰
ask someone
か
else to
に
do
頼
it.
まなくてはならない。
それは
That's... Her expression darkened.
クリスばかり相手にしていないで、たまには自分も構ってあげなさい。
Stop talking to Kurisu all the time and give yourself some attention. I'm sure she's lonely.
明日必ず
And make sure you update
記
your
憶の
memories
更新
tomorrow.
をしておくように。
Understood?
いいね。
わかりました。
Understood. Maho nodded her head and left the room. The reason she'd given to Dr. Liskinen for not updating Maho's memories was a real concern, but there was also another one. Rentaru's words.
なあ、アマデウスの研究には米軍が関与していたのは
Hey, the US military aren't involved in researching Amadeus, are they? She had no proof, but she couldn't get his words out of her mind. Was some great power involved in the Amadeus research? Something so powerful it was outside even Dr. Liskinen's control? If she updated her memory data, Maho would learn about Kurisu's laptop and hard disk. She trusted Amadeus, but that would mean whoever was secretly trying to use the project for their own ends would find out. It seemed silly, almost delusional, to be worried about something like that. But she couldn't get it out of her mind, ever since she can't come back to America.
でもやっぱり考えすぎ
I
るね
really am overthinking it, though. She whispered to herself.
誰かそこにいるの？
Who's there? Is someone there? She heard a woman's voice from down the dark hallway. Maho stopped dead in her tracks. The hallway lights flipped on, and she saw a group of men and women coming down the corridor that connected her building to the next one. The next building over was a psychophysiology lab. Maho's brain science lab mostly investigated the workings of the brain itself. The psychophysiology lab, on the other hand, was more of a medical department. They looked at how the workings of the brain affected mental states and mental illnesses.
すみません、ヒヤジョウマホです。
Excuse me, I'm Maho Hihajo, from Dr. Liskinen's lab. The woman at the head of the group was someone she knew. It was Dr. Reeves, a scientist at the psychophysiology lab.
あら、マホだったの。
Oh, it's you, Maho.
レイエス教授、
Professor
こんな時間に
Reyes,
お仕事です
what
か？
are you up to working this late? Or no. Wait. Oh, she's asking, are you up working? Professor Reyes, are you up working this late?
あなたも？
You too?
ええ、まあ。
Yes, I suppose.
お互いに仕事中
We're
毒だわ
both
ね
addicted to our work, aren't we? Judy Ray's eyes narrowed beneath her glasses as she laughed.
アレクシスは？まだ自
Oh,
分の
where's
オフィスよ
Alexis?
ね。
Still in his office?
はい。アマデウスの研
Yes,
究を。
he's working on Amadeus.
ほんとご執心ね。
He really is dedicated. Sometimes I wonder if he doesn't think it's his own daughter.
こんな時間にレスキネン教授
Are
に
you
お
gonna
会い
see
になるん
Dr.
ですか？
Liskinen at this hour?
もし緊
It's
急
an
でのミー
emergency
ティング
meeting.
なら
I'll go
私も
too.
その必要はないわ。
No need for that.
私の研究に
I'm
少し
having some
問題
trouble
があ
with
って
my
ね
research. I want his help, and I want it
至急彼の知恵を借
now.
りたいのよ。あなたがいても特に
There
頼
won't
め
be
ること
anything
は
you
ない
could
でしょ
do,
うし。
really.
あ、気を悪くしないでね。
Don't take that the wrong way.
ありが
But
とう。
thanks. Dr. Reyes kept smiling as she walked past Maho towards the lab. The other scientists followed her.
研究に問題って一体何だろう？
Problem with her research? What could it be? She took a closer look and saw that she didn't recognize one of the people in the group. It was hard to say why, exactly, she noticed him. He just didn't look like a scientist. When you spend enough time doing research, you start to get a feel for people who are in the same line of work. But he had a totally different air about him. And what was worse, he was behaving extremely rudely towards Dr. Reyes. If he was one of her staff, he wouldn't act like that. And while everyone else was wearing white lab coats, he was wearing a freshly pressed suit. It just didn't feel right. She was about to head back to her room when... No gunshots, please. It bothered her enough that she turned right back around and silently crept back to Dr. Liskinen's lab. The door was slightly ajar. She could hear voices inside. She knew it was wrong, but she decided to push her face up against the door to listen. Shouldn't you put your ear?
いつまで泳がせておくつもり？
Is she talking about Rentaru? How long are you going to let him hang on to it?
貴重な情報源だ。
It's a valuable
下
source
手
of
に動いて
information.
破棄でもされた
I'd
ら
hate to tip
も
him
ったいない
off
だろ
and have him destroy it.
いずれにせよ、今月
Either
中
way,
に日
we're
本に
leaving for
立
Japan
つ
this month.
そこ
I
で
plan on
回
getting
収
it
する
back
つもりさ。
なぜ半年近くも様子を見たのか。 納得のいく説明ができるのかしら。
Was Aruma right? Can he not be trusted? Wait, is that why he liked Rentaru? Because he knew Rentaru was close to Kurisu? Can you explain why you've dragged your feet for 6 months over this?
彼らは我々が知っている
I have a
こと以上
feeling
の
that
何
they're still
かを
hiding something
隠
we
してい
don't
る
know
ような
about
気が
yet.
してね。そこでアマデウスを使
I
って
tried to use
引き出
Amadeus
そ
to
う
get
と
it
した
out
ん
of
だ
him,
が
but oh no.
かなり警戒心が強い慎重な青年だよ、リンターロ・岡部は。
He's a very cautious boy, our Lintalo Okabe.
真帆にお得意の施術でもしてあげたら？
Why not use your special treatment on Maho?
彼女は何も知らないと
I
思
don't
うが
think
ね。
she knows anything. Maho started to panic when she heard her name. Time to run. Please tell me no one noticed you. And then she realized she made a big mistake. She was so focused on listening to the conversation that she'd pressed her shoulder into the door. The door to the lab wasn't very well built. There was a loud creak, and everyone in the lab turned around. Time to run.
誰？
Who's there? She knew she should probably run, but her body refused to move. Shoot. She couldn't understand what she was hearing, and even after they found her, she still couldn't move. She couldn't believe it. She didn't want to believe it. This was worse than being in a thriller, she thought. The other scientists who were with Dr. Reyes grabbed her arms tightly and dragged her into the room.
教授、
Professor?
今の話は
What were you just talking
一
about?
体
Uh-oh. Dr. Liskinen looked a little sad as he walked over to her. His huge body leaned forward and peered into her face.
やれ
Don't
や
touch her.
れ。聞いてしまったんだね。
Oh dear. You heard, didn't you? You heard, did you?
まあ、
Wow,
ちょうどいい。
it's good timing.
魔法。
Ma,
さっきの
remember that Japan
日本
trip we were
行きの
just
話
talking
だけ
about?
どね。
You're going to come with me
やはり
after all.
君にも一緒に来てもらおう。
She didn't know what he meant. Weren't the directors opposed to it? Was it something Dr. Liskinen could decide on his own? What was good timing? Confused, she glanced over at the computer screen. But Kurisu was no longer there. The one thing she knew was... Okabe's words weren't the ramblings of a conspiracy theorist after all. Well, speaking of Okabe... It was almost July. The rainy season hadn't been that bad this year, and what little remained of it had already disappeared. Temperature-wise, summer had come a long time ago.
夏か。
Summer. In other words, it had almost been a year since it happened. And then one Saturday afternoon, Soma and Young Wood. I was looking at this guy's shirt. If I stayed home, not only would it be hot, but Dad would be on my case about helping with the family business. To get away, I'd come to the area around Ikebukuro Station. A year ago, I could have gone to the lab, but with Suzuha living there now, I'd mostly stopped going. What that meant, it was hard to find a place to study on my days off. It was too much trouble to go to the university. And the classrooms probably weren't open on weekends either. Anyway. After a lot of research, I'd settled on spending my free days visiting this cafe near my parents' home, and spending a few hours there. In fact, a lot of the other patrons did the same thing I did. buying a single cup of coffee and sitting there for hours on end. Some brought books, some brought computers. I chuckled to myself as I realized that I joined the ranks of the other normies. And yet you don't have a girlfriend. Hello, Akai. Welcome in. How are you today? Let me do a thing for you. So... Is that an L? Yes. Welcome in, though. Hope you're doing good today. Well, here we go. Dootaroo! Where are you now? Enjoying coffee at a cafe? Grinding in Rivals while watching you play so I don't have to play it. Fair enough. Oh, the usual cafe, right? I just went to your place and you weren't home. You did? Did my dad make a nuisance of himself again? It's okay. He gave me some barley tea. I will have to go shopping. I have to go shopping. Will you come with me? Okay, I'll leave now. Wait for me. So they went to my house. My family's business was called Okabe Green Grocer. It was a beat-up old store located in a rundown shopping street. The place was almost 40 years old. I really wanted them to rebuild it. You're welcome, Akai. My mind had wandered. Mayuri was going to be here in less than 15 minutes, so maybe it was time to call it a day. I'd worked pretty hard during the morning, so it wasn't too bad. I was a little surprised at how hard I'd been working lately. I could feel how having a goal gave me energy. I needed to get to Victor Crondia University as soon as I could. Victor Crondia University. Since I was still testing Amadeus, I'd kept in touch with Maho via email and online chat. She must have been working hard because she was always sleepy. Uh-oh. Speaking of. And then, my phone started to vibrate. It was from the Amadeus Kurisu. Lately, she'd been contacting me all the time. I vaguely remember that at first, she'd promised not to talk to me unless I contacted her first. I don't know if I'm able to ignore her or not. I don't want to ignore her, but I also want to see what he keeps saying. But we talked almost every day over the course of the last 6 months, and as time passed, I'd almost totally forgotten about that. I reached down to answer. Okay, so he does answer. Hello. What? Why is your voice so low?
Shh.
Shh. I'm in a cafe right now. Please, don't call me when I'm busy with stuff. I have no way to know where you are or what you're doing. Or do you want me to... Or do you want me watching you 24 hours a day? Are you saying you want me observing you while you sleep? Or while you're taking a bath? What are you joking about, woman? Says you? You're quite the pervert, aren't you? Oh, I'm sorry. If you don't want to talk to me when I call you, then just don't pick up. I won't get mad about something like that. That's a lie. It's a trap. That's true. Well, It looks like you're busy now, so I'll do what you want and hang up. You're right. It's probably pretty weird for the rest of the cafe to see you talking to a 3D model of a girl on your phone.
お前な。
Come on. I'm kidding. You always take the time to talk to me and, well, I am grateful.
そういう話はいいから。
We can talk about that some other time. I'm hanging up. Hey, wait. Kurisu always talks so much. The real one used to talk a lot too. Talking to her in a place like this always drew a lot of attention and made me feel awkward, says the Chuny. Looking at a screen and talking was embarrassing. Wait, what? Looking at a screen and talking was embarrassing was all. So I'd once proposed that I'd talk to her like I was on a normal phone. And this is what she said. Why do I have to stare at a close-up at the side of your head? And she really was a selfish little program. I'm just looking at the store. Quaint little store. Cute. Mayuri and I met up and headed for Tokyo Hands. When I stepped inside the air-conditioned store, I felt refreshed. If it was this hot in June, I shuddered to think what it was going to be like in July or August.
それで、一体何を買うつもりなんだ?
So what are you going to buy? We're gonna make some signs for advertising. So I need poster board and highlighters and stuff.
今年はコミマで同人誌でも出す気か?
Are you going to put out a book this year's Kamima? No, it's for Okabe Greengrocer.
は?
Huh?
なんだって?
What did you say? My family business. When I went to your house today, I talked to your dad about it. And I said that Mayushi would make them for him.
おいおい.
Oh, wait. Seriously? My dad could be such a jerk.
お前がそんなことする必要
And there's really no reason you have to do that. But Mayushi wants to do it.
本当にいいのか?
You're sure? Your mom and dad are always so nice to me.
じゃあ
Okay. I'll get you something as a thank you present. Really? That makes me so happy. I took a quick look around and saw that they were selling a lot of things you could use for advertising. I decided to mostly leave the purchasing decisions up to Mayuri. She spent quite some time deciding what to buy. But, well, maybe because of all the time she spent at May Queen Nyan Squared, her taste ran in the direction of cute and anime. Part of me thought it was dangerous to leave it up to her. But still, they'd asked her, not me. It wasn't any of my business. I should just leave it to her. And so I decided to wander around the store while Mayuri finished her shopping. But... Why are you calling? I looked down at the screen, and it was from Kurisu.
どうかしたか?
What's up?
もしかして買い物中?
Are you out shopping?
ああ、
Yeah,
恋人な。
with Mayuri.
へえ、
Oh, a date?
スイーツかっこ
A
笑い。
mainstream woman.
その呼び方はやめろと言ったろ
I've told you to stop calling me that.
だったらお前も
Then stop
恋愛の
assuming
癖を
everything is
直すん
about
だな。
romance.
わかったわよ。
Right, right, fine.
でも、
But isn't Mayuri
可愛いわ
cute?
よね。あんな可愛い年下の幼
You're
馴染
lucky to have
に
such a
なんて
cutie as your childhood
恵
friend.
まれてるわよ。
そうだな。
You're right.
これじゃ真帆先輩の勝ち目は全然
Maho
敵
doesn't
じゃ
stand
な
a
い。
chance at this rate.
可愛げもないし、年齢でも
She's
変
not
わら
as
ないし、
cute.
身
She's
長も
not as
負けて
young.
るし、
She's shorter, and her boobs are just hopeless.
惨敗だし。
Says you. Personally, I picked Maho over Mayuri. I mean, at least Mayuri is cuter without the hats. I don't much care for the hats, typically, the ones she wears. But technically, Maho's better.
かわいそうな先輩。
I feel so bad for her.
それをヒヤジョーさんの前で言ったら
If you say that in front of Hyajo, she'll delete your program.
というか、
You know, you actually haven't introduced me to Mayuri. You've got quite a few friends, but you've never told me about any of them. Or you've never told any of them about me.
守秘義務的なものがあるんだ。
It's a
あ
secrecy
まり人
thing.
に教え
I'm
ない
not
ように
supposed to tell
って言
people
われてる。
about you.
本当にそれだけなの？
Is that really all it is?
実は
You actually don't want people seeing me talk to you, do you?
そんなことはないさ。
That's not true.
どうしても紹介してほ
If
しい
you
な
really
ら
want me to introduce you,
ヒヤジョ
I'll
ーさん
get
の許可
permission
を
from
もらうぞ。
Hyajo.
手始めに、俺
I'll
が
start
一
by
番
introducing you
頼り
to
にしている
Daru,
男であ
the
る
man I trust the
ダ
most.
ルを紹介しよう。あいつなら、
He just loved to talk to you.
24時間延々とエロ目線で見つけられてハーハーされ続けるんですね。わかる。
He'll stare at me with his filthy eyes, constantly panting after me 24 hours a day. Right.
変態が怖い。
Perverts scare me. It didn't scare the real one. And Kurisu went pale and started to shake. I told Kurisu all kinds of things about what kind of person Daru was. She could easily imagine what would happen if she ever fell into his clutches.
やっぱり紹介はしてくれ
Never
なくて
mind.
いいわ。
You don't have to introduce me to anyone.
あんたが相手をしてくれるだけで十分と思わなくちゃ。
Wait, what? Whoa, 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 whoa. I didn't press space. I was drinking water. I'll just have to keep telling myself that I'm lucky to have you to talk to. I did not press space. I don't know why you did that. Mayuri walked over, carrying a shopping basket.
あれ今誰と話してたの？
Who are you talking to?
あ、ああ、
Oh, I looked down at my phone. Kurisu had disappeared and my smartphone was back at its home screen. Evidently, Kurisu had hung up.
大学の先輩からだった。
Another student from school.
そっか。
That reminds me. No, how do I... Oh, little mouse. I already tried that. Ringtone? I already tried that. Where... Was there not a thing to... Setting only has these two, and I already did that. There's an achievement for something with this phone, I think. Or maybe not. With the phone, or is it with... I don't think it's this. This should be fine. As the only issue with this would be with the times when I don't press space and it continues without me regardless of that. But I've got the backlog, so it's fine. No. I don't remember what the achievement was. Oh well, I'll deal with it later. I see. I knew I didn't have to hide Kurisu, but at the same time, Mayuri was the one person I didn't want finding out. She knew that I failed to save Kurisu Makase last summer. So, did you decide what you're going to buy? Oh, yeah. What do you think about this? The basket was filled with heart and star-shaped cardstock. This didn't really go with our store's look. But I decided when I started. I was going to let Mayuri make the decisions. Dad might complain later, but I didn't care. He was the one who asked Mayuri for help, not me. And so I went over to the register. Since it was a Saturday, the checkout area was overflowing with shopping carts. Since it was going to take a while, I sent Mayuri to browse the toy section on another floor. I knew they'd have some stuff from one of her favorite shows, Rainet Keikaru. Mayuri looked apologetic, but did what I told her to. In the end, I waited a whole 15 minutes at the register. As an apology, I decided to get the present I'd promised her. Did you get an Upa? She seemed really happy as she stared at the keychain. That's not the Upa, is it? Because it is green. It was Upa, the mascot character from the Rainet Kakeru series. I told her when she went over to the toy section she could pick out anything she wanted. And this is what she chose. You seem pretty happy about that, given how many Upas you already have. And that's a regular green Upa, right? Not the rare one. The rare one. Do you mean the metal? Wait. Well, he's the one that said that. Why is he saying, do you mean the metal? I feel like she's the one that should be saying this. Yeah, I think this is supposed to be her saying this. The rare one? Do you mean the metal Upa? The most popular and rarest of the Upas was the shiny silver metal Upa. For example, whenever there was a lottery for rare Rainet Kakeru stuff at the convenience stores, the top prize was always a metal Upa. Mayuri had told me once that they sold for tens of thousands of yen at auction. For some reason, Mayuri was wagging her finger at me. Nope. This is a green Upa, but it's not a regular one. This is the green fairy Upa that was in the movie they just released. Come to think of it, there had been a Rainet Kakeru movie coming in spring. Had Mayuri sat in a theater full of little kids to watch it? The Green Fairy? Is it okay if I spoil the movie? Go ahead. I'm not gonna go see it. So this movie, it's about a fight with an evil super hacker in the virtual world. The virtual world is... I keep saying word. The virtual world is a forest where the fairies live. Mr. Super Hacker is really strong, and Kakeru and Upa are in big trouble, but... just when they're about to lose, the fairies come to save them. And it turns out that the fairies are actually the flowers in the school garden that he'd always taken care of. They came all the way to the virtual world to save Kakeru. And then there was this big shiny light, and they combined with Upa. And that's the Green Fairy Upa. He's really cute and really strong. Mayushi thought it was so great. I love stories like that. The director's a genius.
監督さんって。
なるほどな。
I see. It was rare for Mayuri to get this excited about something. I took a closer look and saw that the design was a little different from the standard Upa. I didn't know a lot about Upas, but I couldn't say exactly what was different. The
このキー
wings?
ホルダーね。結構あちこち探してたんだ。
Oh, hang on. I've actually been spending a lot of time looking for this keychain.
すっごく人気があってね。
It's really popular,
どこも
so it's sold out everywhere. I never would have thought Hands would have one.
ラッキーだったな。
You were pretty lucky, huh?
しかも
Yep,
これが
and it was the last
最後の
one.
一個だったんだよ。今日は来てよかった。
I'm glad I came today.
オカリ
I
ン
need
と
to thank you and your
おじ
dad.
さんには感謝しなくちゃ。
Mayuri took the tag off the keychain, got her house key out of her bag, and carefully attached it.
ねえ、オカリ
Hey,
ン。
Ocarine! Mayushi will treasure this forever, and ever, and ever.
ずっとずっと。
おお、そうしてくれ。
Yeah, please do. Well, apparently she meant that literally. Until she gave it to someone.
買って5分でなくしたりしないよう
And
にね。
make sure you don't lose it 5 minutes after you get it. It happened before, after all. Like the metal Upa I'd won for her at the radio building. Well, to be fair, fate was involved in that one. As it is in this green one. Mayuri had lost it in no more than 5 minutes after I gave it to her. I'd wondered if she had ever found it. I didn't really want to remember that time in my life, so my memory of what happened to the metal Upa was vague.
もう絶対に
Yep, I'm never gonna lose it again.
なくさないのです。
The two of us started to head back.
オカリンのお店のポップ張り切って
I'm
作
gonna
る
work hard and make the ads on for your shop, okay?
まあ、その作業があ
Oh,
ったな。
yeah. You've still got to do that. I'd been thinking the job was done once we bought the materials. The real work actually began now.
俺も手伝おうか。
Should I help too?
大丈夫。
No,
マユシー
I'm
の
fine.
センスを信じ
Believe in
てほしい
Mayushi.
な。
ハートマークのポップを買おうとしてた時点で。
I'm a little worried after you tried to buy heart-shaped cardstock.
大丈夫だよ。
It's fine.
まあ、ポップを作ってくれる
Well,
だけでもありが
it's
たいから
nice of you to make them at all,
文句は言わない。
so I won't complain.
お母さんに
I
メ
need
ー
to
ルし
call
な
Mom.
きゃ。
I'll tell her that I'll be home for dinner.
なんなら、うちで食べてってもいいぞ。
Why not eat at my place?
どうせ
I'm
親父
sure either
の
Mom or
夫
Dad
は
will try to get you to stay out anyway.
どうしようかな。
I don't know.
オカリンは今日はこの
Are you going to stay at home the rest of the today? You won't go to any singles parties?
行かない？
最近は全然行ってないよ。
I haven't been to any lately. Last fall, when I'd been trying to become a normal college kid, I'd forced myself to go to as many as possible. But lately, I've been so busy with my studies that I hadn't had a chance.
そっか。じゃ
I see.
あごちそう
Then
に
maybe I
な
will.
っていこうかな。
Mayuri took out her phone and started to type something when... Something wrong? Her expression suddenly darkened. She stopped moving.
どうした？
What's wrong?
きね
I just got a message
楓
from
さんから
Kaede.
メールが来て
I
て
didn't notice it.
気づかなかったよどうしようおかり
What does the message say? What should I do, Ocarine? Mayuri seemed like she was on the verge of tears.
何かあったのか？
Did something happen? Does she have the disease? It's not a disease, it's reading Steiner, but
ねえおかり前に言ってたよね吹雪ちゃんは
oh
病気なんかじゃないっ
no, she
て
did. Hey, Ocarine, you told me before that Fubuki's not sick, right?
吹雪ちゃん？
Fubuki.
中瀬さんのことか？
You mean
栗島
Nakase?
さんの方じゃなくて？
Not Kuroshima, right? Did the stream just cut out slightly? Just in case. Fubuki. You mean Nakase? Not Kuroshima, right?
うんあれって本当に病
Yeah.
気じゃないんだ
Is
よ
that
ね
true? She's really not sick?
お、お、
Yeah. Yeah.
違うは
I
ずだ。
don't think so.
でも
But Mayuri showed me her phone. Oh, it was about Fubuki. Fubuki's back in the hospital. I'm on my way. Here's the location. When did she get out of it? Why would she be back in the hospital? Because, Rentaru hasn't experienced anything, right? Fubuki's back in the hospital. I'm on my way. Here's the location.
また入院した。
She's
だって。
back in the hospital? I couldn't believe what I was seeing on the screen. Fubuki was at a different location than before. This time it was at the AH Tokyo General Hospital High-Tech Medical Center in Yoyogi. Oh, that was a mouthful. It was supposedly one of Japan's most advanced hospitals. According to what I read on the internet, patients with the new encephalitis that everyone was talking about were being gathered here for special treatment. But I'd also read lots of really bad urban legends about the place, and I was a bit worried about what kind of horror show I'd find there. But of course, when we arrived, it was nothing like that. It was very clean and decorated like a luxury hotel.
まゆりちゃんほかりんさん
Kaede is the... she's the one I gave soft-spoken to. Mayuri, Okarin.
こっちです
This way. Kaede and Yuki waved to us as we entered the lobby. Yuki had gotten a message from Kaede as well, and had evidently come right over.
吹雪ちゃんは
Where's Fubuki?
大丈夫だよ
She's fine. Yuki gave Mayuri a soft hug and a smile. Kaede bowed her head apologetically. Jesus.
驚かせてごめんね
Sorry to
私
scare
も
you.
焦っちゃって
I was kind of in a hurry
も
myself.
っとちゃんと確
I
認
should have
してか
checked
ら
more carefully
メールすれ
before
ば
I
よかった
messaged you.
というと、
What do you mean?
中瀬さんの容
How's
体は
Nakase doing?
今病室で
I just met her mom in the
お母さん
hospital room.
に会えたんですけど
And it doesn't look like her illness has
例
gotten
の
any
病気が
worse.
悪化したとかじゃないそうで
じゃあ、また検査入院。
Then they just brought her out here for more examinations or something?
はいそう言ってました
Yes. That's what they said.
だから
So there's
全
nothing to
然
worry
心
about.
配ないって
Oh, I'm so glad.
よかった
Mayuri looked extremely relieved as Yuki continued to hug her. If I remembered right, the last time they examined her, they said it was possible she had the disease, but as long as it didn't get worse, it wouldn't affect her daily life. And they just told her to come back for regular checkups. The new encephalitis had arrived in Japan over 6 months ago, but the number of patients was still increasing. Fortunately, there hadn't been a single casualty yet. I'm pretty sure that's no illness, though. I was certain what they were calling encephalitis was actually something similar to reading Steiner. One time, when I went to visit Fubuki in the hospital, I had secretly investigated the other patients. I wasn't able to get any proof, but I found out most of the patients in her wing had, to varying degrees, memories of the same worldline. Many people had memories of Japan at war. Can we see Fubuki? They say they're doing an MRI to look at her brain right now, so she's not in her room. I see. But it'll be done soon. Fubuki's mom told us to wait here. Kaede motioned to Mayuri, indicating she should sit down at a nearby sofa. Once the exam is done, she's gonna come get us. I let the girls sit down on the sofa and stood next to them while I surveyed the lobby. This is an amazing hospital, isn't it? Yeah. Is Nakase's family really rich or something? If she's staying in a place like this... No, that's not it. Fubuki's mom says that the Japanese and American governments are paying for a new treatment project. It's going to be centered around this lab, in a dedicated hospital in America, supposedly. I see. I wasn't sure how I felt about that. If I was right about what this disease really was, it was hard to imagine a bigger waste of money. Please, give all the patients private rooms, and try to keep the rooms as far apart from one another as possible to ensure the patients don't come into contact. But there aren't that many open rooms. You need to do it anyway. If the patients talk to each other, they'll start to share the dreams, right? Sure, that's true, but once a person hears about someone else's dream, their brain can trick them into thinking they had that dream as well. It is Dr. Liskinen. I thought I was recognizing the voice. I wasn't sure, though. Across the lobby, I saw an old Japanese doctor in a white coat, and a big man in a suit who was frantically trying to talk to him. Oh. I'd seen the man in the suit before. Actually, it was a man I knew well. Professor Liskinen. I hurried over. Dr. Liskinen. It's me, Okabe. He must have been wearing his translator, because he was communicating with the old doctor in Japanese. Dr. Liskinen's face quickly broke into a smile when he saw me.
Oh, Rintaro!
His voice was so loud that everyone in the lobby, doctors, nurses, staff, and even the patients turned to look at me. But Dr. Liskinen didn't seem to notice them as he ran over. He was like a giant American football player racing for a touchdown. Wait! Professor! Stop! Stop! My cries went unheard as Dr. Liskinen tackled me, and then pulled me up. Then he switched from football player to pro wrestler, and he swung me up and down. I felt like I was a little child. There was nothing I could do to resist him as he flung me around. A moment later, he noticed the cold stares of the people around us and finally released me. Oh my, I'm sorry. I was just so surprised I got a little too excited. Dr. Leskinen bowed to the people around him in apology. Dr. Leskinen, who is this young man? The doctor that Professor Leskinen had been talking to was staring at me suspiciously. Oh, well, I wasn't sure exactly what to tell him. It wasn't like he was really my professor. You seem to be a student. Which school are you with? If you're studying brain science like the professor. No, he'll be a student at Victor Crondia this September. I'm planning on having him come to my lab. Huh? I see. Victor Crondia University, eh? That's a surprise. I looked over on Dr. Leskinen questioningly, but he just gave me a mischievous smile. This guy. He really was such a kid. If only that were true. It's very rare for a Japanese student to be able to go there. I'm impressed. Thanks. After the doctor left, I sighed loudly enough for Professor Leskinen to hear me. So, who was that guy? The director of this hospital. The director? You just told a lie to someone that important? Oh? Did I lie? I said you'd be a student starting in September, but I didn't mean this September. Or what? Do you think you don't have what it takes to make it to my school in the end? That's a little unfortunate, but... He really was like a little kid. Completely shameless. But still, it was hard to hate him. Oh, just you wait, apparently. I'm surprised, though. I had no idea you were in Japan. It had been 5 months since I'd seen him off at Narita. Maho's here, too. Really? She didn't say a word about it. I talked to her often via email and video chat, mostly about Amadeus' testing, but she hadn't said a word about coming to Japan. I hadn't heard anything about it from Kurisu either. We're back in the same office at Wako City. Come by anytime you'd like, and bring Kurisu. Wait. Oh, okay. I see. Sorry, I had to check something. I told him to find us a different place after we got robbed last time, but... Dr. Leskinen looked up towards the ceiling and shrugged. It did feel like that place had security issues. Are you not feeling well, Lintalo? Did you come here for treatment? Oh, no. I'm here to visit a friend. Oh, I see. That's good. Well, it's not good for your friend. I'm sorry. Oh, no. So what are you doing at a Japanese hospital? Dr. Leskinen brought his face close to mine, and whispered so that the people around us couldn't hear him. You've heard about the new encephalitis cases, right? The American government asked our psychophysiology lab to look into it, but they've hit a roadblock. The university ordered me to help with the investigation.
というわけさ。そうなんですか。
I see.
レスキネン教授が
So you're helping with the new encephalitis cases. Now there was a word I didn't expect to hear. I explained that my friend here was here because they thought she might have the disease. Is your friend named Katsumi Nakase, perhaps?
え、ああ。
Oh,
クリ
yeah.
スマスパーティーで会ってましたね。
You met her at the Christmas party, didn't you? That's right. My interest in this new disease started with that party, you see. Both you and Katsumi collapsed, right? He was right, actually. That's not good. In my case, I'd been sent to that other world line. I met up with her again several days ago. She demanded to know why she was being sent back to the hospital and she was just fine.
そうでしたか。
I see. Would you tell her it would make me happy if she was a bit more cooperative?
ああ。
I'd actually feel really bad for both her and all the other patients. We in the Japanese team are doing what we can, but we just don't understand the results we're getting. Dr. Leskinen, usually chipper expression, darkened. The man was such a ball of vitality that I hadn't noticed until then, but when his smile disappeared, I could see the wrinkles that had formed on his face from exhaustion. I need water. He must have been working hard, like he said. To be honest, none of the doctors thought we'd have this much trouble explaining it at the start. What's wrong, Lintalo?
あ、
Oh,
その
well, is there something wrong?
いえ、
No. Don't tell
俺
him.
は医学生じゃないので、さっぱり
I'm not a medical student, so this is all outside my expertise. Don't tell him. I was just about to tell him about my reading Steiner. Don't do it. But in the end, I couldn't. If my uninformed opinion was wrong, it could cost the encephalitis patients their lives. I couldn't just tell him when I didn't have any proof. And then his face drew close to mine again. And by the way, Katsumi was saying something very interesting. She better not have tattled on me, saying that I was fine, that I'm not in the hospital. You blabbermouth. She said something about not being sick, about how she was actually experiencing another world in her dreams. I told her not to say anything about it. Could she not help it? This was bad. We're talking about Fubuki here. They might start to doubt her sanity.
えっと、
Well,
中瀬さんはその
Nakase's got a very vivid imagination,
とて
maybe.
も想像力が
She loves
乏しい
sci-fi and
という
anime.
か他の平行世界を感知できる
She
力がある
probably
ので
just said she has the power to experience
多分
parallel
趣味の
worlds
影響で口に
because she
した
saw
だ
it
け
in
じゃ
some
ないかと
show
思います
somewhere.
実は俺もそう
I
いうこと
remember
を
that I
聞い
used
た
to
時
say
期が
stuff
あるん
like
で
that.
すよ
I tried my best to come up with excuses, but Dr. Leskinen still seemed concerned. But still, I was really surprised when I started participating in the treatment project. But one of the strange things about this illness is that many patients share the same dreams. I'm assuming it's similar to a mass hallucination. But what do you think? I've never seen this before. From a brain science perspective, I just don't have an answer right now. And to be honest, unscientific is the word that seems to best fit. Like parallel worlds, or memories of a past life, you know?
そうですか。
See.
君も
It would help if you talk to Katsumi too. There are some things you can't say to a doctor, but that you'll tell your friends.
はい。
I wish that were true,
一応
since she couldn't keep her mouth
心がけてお
shut.
きます。
Sure, I'll ask her, I guess.
さて、リンタロウ、それはそれと
So,
して、
Lintalo,
確認だ。
that aside, I have a question for you. Dr. Leskinen was looking over my shoulder.
クリスマスパーティーの時にも感じたんだけれど、
I got a sense of this at the Christmas party. But your girlfriends really are cute, aren't they? Not my girlfriends.
え
I know I went off into an ending with each of them, aside from Mayuri's friends, but with each of them in the previous game, but they're not my girlfriends. Huh? I turned around and saw that Mayuri, Kaede, and Yuki had all stood up from the sofa and were looking at me. When they saw Dr. Leskinen was looking at them, they waved.
やはりあの中に恋人がいたりするのかい？
So, are any of those girls involved with you right now? Yuki, Kaede, Mayuri,
それとも
or maybe Katsumi?
なのかな？
Whoa. His words were so surprising. I couldn't think of anything to say. Maho would often call this middle-aged man a mischievous boy. That was exactly the look he had on his face.
いや、別に
No,
無理
I
に
won't
聞か
force
せ
you
て
to tell
くれ
me.
とは言わない。
I don't want to pry into your private life.
プライベートを詮索する。ただ、まあ、可愛い
But,
おしゃれ後に
I'd hope to have something to tell my favorite
土産
student.
話をと思っただけさ。
Dr. Leskinen turned to walk away before I could figure out what he meant. Probably Maho.
それじゃ、リンタロウ、私は
All right,
もうちょっと
Lintalo.
院長と
I've got to
話を
talk to the
しない
director
と
a
いけ
little
ない
more,
から
so I'll be
これ
going.
で。できれば、ユキたちにも
I'd love to go around to all those all those girls and give them a hug too.
次回にとって
But
も
I'll save that for next time.
彼女たち
Tell them I said hello.
よろしく。
Oh, sure. Mayuri and the others came over to me as I watched him go.
今の人レスキネン先生
Was that Dr. Leskinen?
ですよね。どこかで見たことあ
Yeah,
ると思った。
I knew I'd seen him somewhere before.
アメリカに帰ったんじゃなか
I
った
thought
で
he'd
した
gone
っけ
back to America.
オカリン
Ocarine? There was no way I could tell the girls what Dr. Leskinen and I were just talking about. After Fubuki's exam was over, we went to her room and listened to her complain, and then the visit was over. Just like Dr. Leskinen had said, she looked just fine. She told us she was ready to leave the hospital and jog all the way home. Mayuri and the others were relieved, but I felt worried. Did I need to talk to Dr. Leskinen about reading Steiner after all? But how would I explain it? It might be a better idea to talk to Maho and have her explain it to him. I couldn't come to an answer right away. Best girl. It was a very hot day in 1998 when Suzuha said goodbye to Kagari Shiina. She'd gone to get food and water from a local store, and when she'd come back and opened the hatch, Kagari was inside screaming. You need to chill out, girl. Come on! How does this stupid thing work? She looked inside and saw that Kagari was slamming her tiny hands down on the control console.
お前何をしてるんだ
What are you doing? Kagari shrank back when she saw Suzuha.
違うの
I'm not...
これは
This isn't what it looks like.
答えろ
Answer me. But
目を覚ましたら鈴葉お
I
姉ちゃん
woke
がい
up
な
and you
く
were
て
gone.
真っ暗で
It
明
was
かりも
dark
つか
and
な
the
い
lights
し
wouldn't turn on.
狭くて
It
怖
was
く
so
て
cramped
苦
and
し
scary
く
in
て
here.
だから係
So I tried to open the door.
それであちこちいじっ
And
て
then
る
when I
う
was
ち
fiddling
に
with it, this
こん
happened.
なことに
Kugari started to cry.
ごめんなさい鈴葉お
I'm
姉
sorry,
ちゃん
Big Sis Suzaha. I'm sorry. But I was really scared.
そうか
I see. Suzaha relaxed her guard. Kugari had PTSD from her time as a war orphan, and she hadn't fully recovered yet. Mayuri had once told her that she got very frightened in dark and cramped places. It would make sense if waking up in the dark caused a panic attack. And the time machine could only function with Suzaha's biometric authorization. Someone of Kagari's size wouldn't be able to break the console either.
お前は時間移動のショックで気を失
You
ってたん
passed
だ
out
よ
from the shock of time travel.
だから休ませて
So I
おいたん
wanted
だ
to
け
let you
ど
get some rest.
悪か
I'm
った
sorry. Suzaha grabbed one of Kagari's tiny hands to help her up, and then led her outside the machine.
暑い
Wow, it's so hot.
かがり約束するんだ
Promise me that you won't touch the switches on the control
操
console no
縦
matter
席の
what,
スイッチに
okay?
触ったりするな
Okay.
じゃあ私は仕
I'm
事
going
に
to
か
get
かる
started.
から
You go
お
and
前は
rest.
その辺で休んでるんだ
Have some food and water if you
飲み
want.
物と食べ物は適当に食べていい
Suzaha handed Kagari the provisions she'd bought, then went inside and poked her head into the cargo space under the control console. She connected the IBN 5100 she stored there to a portable terminal she'd brought from the future. By all appearances, it was an early 2000 cell phone, but inside it was a miniaturized quantum computer from the year 2036. Of course, future Daru had made it himself. When she booted up the IBN 5100, rows of numbers started to appear on the screen.
何をするの
What are you doing? Kagari was looking in from outside the machine.
2000年問題は勉強したか
Did you study the year 2000 problem?
施設の学校でちょっとだ
I
け
studied a little bit at the
結
orphanage.
局何
In
も
the
起こら
end,
なかったんで
nothing
しょ
happened, right?
表向きはね
That's what everybody thinks.
公表されてないけど
It wasn't made
実は
public,
当時
but at the time,
あ
a
れの
lot
せ
of
いで
places and a lot of
いくつ
countries
かの地域や
had
国
serious
に
problems because of
深
it.
刻な問題が起きたんだそうなの
Really?
問題だったのは
The issue was this computer, the IBN 5100.
これには古いプログラム
It's got an old programming language on it, and the engineers weren't able to fix the program. Hello, Spicy. Welcome in. Thanks for your daily check-in. Ooh, 5 more times.
というよりそんな言語で書かれた重大なプログラ
In
ムが存
fact,
在す
they
ること
didn't
自
even know that
体
an important program existed that was written in this language.
第三次世界大戦
The
は
race to develop the time machine was the beginning of the Third World War, but
もしかすると2000
there's a
年
chance
問
that
題で発
something
生したある
that
事
happened
象
during
と
the year 2000 proms and the divisions that resulted from that
もっ
were
と
a
深い
deeper
原因であ
cause.
る可能性がある
She didn't expect a 10-year-old like Kagari to understand this, but she didn't feel like taking the time to explain.
しかも西暦2000年というのは特殊な
And the year
年でね
2000 is a special year,
全て
you
の世
see.
界線が
All the world
一
lines
旦
temporarily
一つに
converged here.
収束しそれに関連してこの問
This
題
means
が
that
あら
it's
ゆる
possible
世
the
界
year
線の
2000
運命
problem
に
has a huge
重大
effect
な
on
影
all the
響を
world
引き起こ
lines.
すかもしれない私たちが目指してる狭間の世界線
The world line in the gap that we're
STEINS
trying to reach, STEINS Gate, is no exception. She looked down at the terminal connected to the IBN 5100.
だからこれは2000
So
年
this is
問
a
題を起
patch
こさない
program
よ
to
うに
keep
す
the
る
year
ための
2000 problem from ever
修正プ
happening.
ログラムなんだよ
Right now, the terminal was converting the patch into the language used by the IBN 5100. The next step was to spread this program all around the world in the form of a virus, and the year 2000 problems that this era's engineers missed would completely disappear. The word connect appeared on the terminal subscreen.
OK つながった
Okay, it's connected. She'd been told that in Japan, in this era, ADSL was still in the test phase, and most normal users connected to the internet by low-speed dial-up using ISDN. But in major cities like Akihabara, universities, lab, and some big computer companies were starting to use fiber optic broadband. Some of them were even using wireless LANs. Suza cracked her way into one of those. Dad had laughed when he said that with 2036 technology, cracking late 20th century network security was a joke. But he'd been right.
でも未来を変えちゃったら
But,
係たちがいた未来の
if you change the
世界も
future, won't that change the world
変わっちゃうんじゃないの
we were in? Started stuttering. Surprisingly, Kagari had gotten the gist of what Suza had just told her.
そういうことだ
That's right.
もうあの世界は存
I
在
refuse と
させな
let
い
that world exist any longer.
私たちは
So I've come here to reach
シュタイン
Steins
ズゲートを目
Gate.
指すためにここへ来たんだから
Suddenly, the uneasy look on Kagari's face vanished. It was as if her soul had left its body. Suddenly her face was expressionless, and her eyes were wide.
声
Voice!
神様の
I
声
can hear God's voice.
係
Kagari,
ダメだよよくない
you
よ
can't do that. It's not right.
ダメなんだよ鈴葉お
You
姉ちゃん
can't do that, Big Sis
そんな
Suzaha.
ことしち
You
ゃ
can't.
いけないおい
Huh? Kagari was acting strangely. Suspiciously, Suzaha reached her hand out towards her. But she slipped past Suzaha's hand, and quicker than any child should be able to move, she slammed her shoulder straight into Suzaha's body. Is she her future self doing a time leap? What's happening? Because that's what the in the first game, that's what happened with Nai. Suzaha was caught completely off guard. That's how fast it was. Kagari's shoulder hit her in the solar plexus. She bent over and collapsed onto the seat. Kagari tore the terminal out of Suzaha's hands. The cables connecting it to the IBN 5100 were ripped out, and errors displayed on both screens.
お前
What?
何を
What are you doing? Kagari didn't answer the question. Instead, she grabbed the backpack that Suzaha had placed on the seat and spilled its contents onto the floor. There were MREs, spare parts, clothes, and a semi-automatic pistol. Suzaha couldn't believe it. Kagari was going to try and pick it up.
やめろ
Stop it! She forced herself to ignore the pain as she jumped on Kagari's body. But another unbelievably powerful body slam knocked her back. This is not normal. Is this a time leap? Something cold was pushed right up against her brow.
動いちゃダメ
Don't move! Kagari's tiny hands weren't shaking at all as they clutched the semi-automatic pistol. In the space of an instant, the safety on the gun had been flipped off. That can't be normal. That's when Suzaha realized that this wasn't just a temper tantrum. Suzaha was the one who'd taught her how to use a gun. Oh. Whoops. That's why she knew that Kagari was perfectly calm.
正気か今すぐ銃を下
Are
ろ
you
せ
insane? Put the gun down now. Stop doing this.
やめるのはお姉ちゃんの方だ
You're the one who needs to stop.
何
What? You can't change the world. You're not making sense. There was no hesitation in her eyes. Instead, Suzuha saw only resolve. Do you want the war to happen then? I don't know anything about that. I just want to go back to my old world. Why did Mayuri do this? Then, that's never going to happen. We've already used the time machine to interfere with the past. The world line's changed. There's almost no chance we can go back. Shut up! Shut up! I'm gonna save Mommy! You can't erase this world! I won't let you! Kagari turned the gun towards the IBN 5100. Stop! Too late. Five shots? Before Suzuha could stop her, she yanked down on the trigger. Again and again. Stop it, Kagari! Please, stop! And then Kagari jumped out of the time machine. And Suzuha never saw her again. On every night that passed, she remembered Kagari. Suzuha had spent some time looking for Kagari when she'd first come to this era, but in the end, she'd never found anything. But Kagari Shiina, who was now 22 years old, was here in Akihabara. 22, you say? Suzuha was sure of it. 22. So if anyone claims to be 22 years old, but it did no good to keep thinking about it. So Suzuha decided to stop thinking and look around the room. Itaru, her dad, was playing yet another game populated entirely with female characters. His jaw was slack, and he was scratching the belly fat that stuck out from under his shirt as he played. Oof. There wasn't much to respect in him right now, either as a father or as a person. Damn. Come to think of it, how are things with Mom? Right, the date. How'd the date go? Is everything alright? I'm still gonna be born, right? Oh, well, is that more important than the time machine? Hey! Suzuha stormed over to Itaru. You can't screw this up, Dad. Yeah. Daddy's gonna do his best, okay? All you ever do is talk. You even wasted those movie tickets we gave you, didn't you? She meant the pair of movie tickets that Mayuri and Ferris had conspired to give them at the Christmas party. That's because Ocarina and Miss Fubuki collapsed, you know? We were so busy with hospital visits and stuff that the movie left the theater. It's not like it's my fault. But I heard that when they try to give you new tickets, you turn them down. Who told you that? Big Sis Mayu and Big Sis Rumi, obviously. That's because, you know, it's not very manly to make those two do all the work, is it? So did you go and do something yourself? No. The answer is no. This isn't gonna work. Maybe this was a more important problem than the time machine. Suzuha brought her hands up to her head. Listen, Dad. I'm not going to be around to lecture you like this forever, okay? I'm leaving soon. Oh. Suddenly, there was a sad look in Itaru's eyes.
そういう顔しない。
Don't make that face.
約束したはずだよ。
I promised I'd stop worrying about it.
もう迷うのをやめにしようって。
For the past 6 months, Suzuha had been thinking about whether it was really right to erase this world. But in the end, it was none other than Itaru who pushed her to go ahead.
ごめん。
I'm sorry. She couldn't bear to see her father so depressed, so she patted his broad back.
しょぼくれてないで。母さんに
Don't
メール
just
し
sit
て。
there and be glum.
予定
Send
が
mom a
空いてる日
message
がないか聞いて。
and see if she's free sometime.
で、空いてたら映画に
And if she
誘う。
is, invite her to a movie.
げいきなり
Yeah?
ハードル高すぎ。
That's way too sudden.
高すぎでも何でもいいか
I
ら
don't care if it's
誘いなさい。
sudden or not.
いい
Do it anyway.
これは
Okay?
命令だからね。
This is an order.
命令って。
An order?
返事は
Well, what's your answer?
さあ、イエスさあ。
Sir, yes, sir. Satisfied, she headed off to take a shower.
あ、でもその前に。
Oh,
ちょっとだけ
before that,
ここに行ってくる
I'm gonna hit the convenience store. Ah, don't glare at me like that. I'll eat as healthy as I can, so please, forgive me.
バニラ。
Vanilla.
はい。
Huh?
私、シャワー出たらアイ
I
ス食べ
want
たい。
ice cream when I'm done with my
バ
shower.
ニラ。
Vanilla ice cream.
うん、わかった。
Okay.
庶民が
I'll go buy you a lot of really top shelf stuff.
高級なやつを。
いっぱいはいらないよ。
It doesn't have to be a lot. Just one thing is fine.
さあ、イエスさあ。
Sir! Yes, sir! That was enough to cheer Daru up. He took his wallet and ran out of the lab.
やれやれ。世話がかかるんだから。
He's such a handful. She had just about taken off her jacket so she could take that shower. But...
鈴葉。
Suzuha! Itaru had come back into the lab.
どうかした？
What is it?
階段のところにさ、こんなの
I
落ちてたん
found
だよ
this on the
ね。
stairs. Kagari? Does it look old or new? Doesn't it kind of look old? Itaru showed her a keychain he was holding. It was a round anime character, whose color had faded to a smoky green. Yeah, it faded. Okay, so this is Kagari. It was an Upa.
誰のかわかる？
Do you know whose this is?
まゆ姉さんじゃないの？
Really, Suzu? Big Sis Mayu's, probably. She leaned forward to take a closer look, and then felt like she was experiencing deja vu.
このウーパー、どこかで。
I've seen this Upa somewhere before. She'd seen it before? She couldn't really remember when, but her internal alarms were going off. This keychain was extremely important.
うん。
Upas were common enough that you could find them anywhere. The plastic edges had worn down. The paint was faded and coming off in places. But there was no dust. There were no stains. Instead, it shone brightly, as if its owner had put a lot of effort into taking good care of it. The chain was so old that part of it had snapped off. That was probably how it got dropped.
どこだっただろう。ど
Where
こか
was
で
it?
見た。
I've seen this before.
まゆしに見せてもらったとか？
Did Mayoshi show it to you?
そうなのかな。
I don't know. She stared at the green Upa in Itaru's hands. And then, in her mind, she heard a young girl scream.
大切にしてきた。
This is Mommy's Upa keychain. I'm giving it to you. Take good care of it, okay?
大事にしてね。
I mean, you were right, it was Mayu's. She gasped. A feeling of indescribable terror raced down her spine.
まさか
This can't be.
かがりのか。
Kagari's? That was when she'd last seen it. August 13th, 2036. The day she'd gone into the time machine. That's when she'd seen this Upa. It was older and more worn now, but the more she remembered that day, the more certain she became. This was the Upa that Mayuri had given to Kagari. She'd seen Kagari holding it and crying to herself many times before. Kagari? You mean future Miss Mayu's daughter?
うん。
Yeah. Did you find her?
いや、
No,
Demo.
but she knows where I am.
向こうはこっちを認識。
What do you mean?
あいつ、
She's watching
監
this
視して
lab.
るんだよ。
Satisfied, she headed off to take a shower. Ever since then, her careful efforts to defend the time machine had paid off, and she hadn't seen any sign of Kagari, but she'd never thought she'd be watching the lab.
いや、ちょっと考えれば
No,
当たり前
it
の
would
こと
have
だ
been
ったんだ。
obvious if I'd given it any thought.
あいつは私たち
She's
が
trying to stop us from
シュタインズゲートに
reaching
到達す
Steins
るの
Gate.
を阻止しようとしてるこの世界を